Welcome to the Impactful Entrepreneur Show with Adrienne Hill, a place for online business industry expertise and thought leadership, where you can build the skills, structure, and systems you need to thrive in business and have a lasting impact in your industry. Let's do this. Hey everyone, welcome back to another amazing interview. I am here with the Adrienne Richardson. She's the owner and founder of PowerPlay Media. She's the Facebook ad strategist, running campaigns for many of the ads that you see on Facebook every single day. She spent more than 9 years and over $15 million in ad spend mastering the art and science of using Facebook ads to generate more than 450,000 leads and $75 million in sales for her clients. She's helped over 6,000 high-level business owners create marketing strategies that allow their businesses to exponentially grow their revenue and impact the entire world. Guys, she's worked with people all the way from digital marketer Pete Vargas, Russ Ruffino, Boss Babe, Michael Hyatt, Jen Gottlieb, Chris Winfried, Shanda Sumter, the list goes on and on. She's worked with all the big names in the industry, so she is the person to be hearing about right now in terms of how to run successful Facebook and Instagram ads. We're so excited to have her. So welcome, Adrienne.
Thank you. I'm excited about this. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And ads play such a critical role in the overall equation. I know that, of course, organic strategies are always popular, but once you have something that's working and selling and converting, ads just add fuel to the fire, and they can help your business to exponentially explode, very much like you've helped all your clients to do. So we're really excited to dig in.
Now, organic can amplify ads, and ads can amplify organic. So when you're doing both of them, they really work beautifully together.
Yeah, I love it. So for those people in the audience who maybe haven't met you yet, or they've never realized that they've been looking at your ads in the feed, do you want to tell us just a little bit about you and your story, and like, how did you get to this place where you've become this Facebook and Instagram, or maybe I should say Meta ads expert now?
I hate that word, by the way. My degree is in public relations, and I used to work at an advertising agency in Philadelphia, and I have a lot of experience in PR and getting on TV and in the newspaper and radio, like old school stuff, right? And I left there. Actually, I got laid off when I was pregnant, and was trying to figure out what I was going to do with myself. And I decided to start a parenting magazine. So I started a parenting magazine called South Jersey Mom back when I was living in New Jersey. And it's a full color print magazine, distributed in 7 different counties. And I did that for about 4 years until I was really struggling to be a mom and a business owner at that time. I had 2 littles, 2 kids under 2. 2 kids under 2. And it was just too hard. And so I made the decision to sell the magazine. It's still in print today. And took 2 years off, homeschooled my kids, and then decided it's time to get back at it. And I originally opened up my own PR firm and did all the things related to PR. And I discovered Facebook ads and wanted to learn them really just for myself, to get myself more clients. And together with my background in marketing and advertising and this new tool called Facebook ads, I was getting incredible results. And then I started offering it to my PR clients. And within a year of learning Facebook ads, I shut down everything and only offered Facebook ads. I was like, I'm not doing anything else. And pretty much my business took off from there and has doubled every year since, by deciding to go super, specific and all in. And certainly over the years, with the types of budgets that I manage, I've been able to fine tune my skills to where I am today.
That's amazing. This is the perfect example for those of you watching who've been nervous to niche down. This is the perfect example of why niching down helps you to grow leaps and bounds beyond where you might imagine, because people know exactly what Adrienne does. And they go to her
when I had the PR agency. Yeah. When I had the PR agency, nobody knew what I did. I didn't get any referrals or anything. And then once I decided I was all in on Facebook, then when somebody would be in a group and say, do you guys know anybody who can help me with ads? People would start tagging me. And then, nobody tagged me before that. And so it really helped people to know what I did and be able to refer me business, because of that specialty.
Yeah. And then also by niching down, I'm sure the minute you started working with some of the big names in the industry and got them results, of course, they're going to tell everyone in their circle.
Yeah. You only need to get 1 or 2 people that are, have a really large business but very visible, and it just blows up from there.
Yeah. perfect for you, but also perfect for us because we want to learn about ads. So we got all the questions.
Great.
So
I got
now that
all
we
the
kind of,
answers.
yes. So now I know what's on everyone's mind, certainly anyone watching who runs ads, like all the iOS changes, the whole switch to Meta, like algorithms changing. It's kind of crazy out there. Like there's,
Yeah.
and I think that's one thing I've noticed after being in this industry a few years. The minute you have it figured out, it's going to change again. So just wait a hot minute. Like,
Yep.
it's going to happen. So what are the biggest changes that have happened recently? And what does the audience, those who are running ads, what do we really need to know? Like big things that like, hey guys, you got to know this because this was a big shift from 6 months ago or a year ago.
Yeah. Facebook has made a lot of changes since April of 2021. With that biggest change was the iOS change. And that was not something Facebook wanted to do. Apple forced that on them and threatened to take their app out of the Apple store if they did not comply. So this was not something Facebook wanted to do. Apple kind of came in, disrupted the whole, internet marketing scene for their own benefit. They're now going to be doing Apple ads, and that's why they did that. And so it was very disruptive, and Facebook was left scrambling to try to adjust to this change that Apple made. And, people are still trying to overcome that. And I can say that with that change, one of the most important things that if you have not adapted to it, you are probably spending way too much on your ads is using some kind of third-party tracking, because the tracking inside of Facebook is no longer reliable. Even if you've done all the things that is now required for tracking, it's still under-reporting and over-reporting by as much as 50%. And so you have to use some kind of third-party tracking tool to properly track your data. Otherwise, you are majorly overspending and not able to fully optimize your ads. So that's one thing I would say. And then the second thing, a lot of other little things happened, but the second biggest thing just happened in February 2022. And that is where Facebook took away thousands of targeting options. And again, they did not do that by choice. They were forced to because of a lawsuit around privacy. Consumers are mad that they tell Facebook all of their information, and then Facebook uses that to benefit themselves. And so they started taking away a lot of targeting options. Again, they were forced to because of privacy issues. And the industries that were hit the hardest with that was targeting based on religion, politics, personal characteristics, or health or fitness. If you're in any of those industries, you probably lost a lot or all of your targeting. And so we'll talk about that today, but there's some changes that you have to make to overcome that. But big picture and what you're talking about with it changing so much is we live in a world that is changing rapidly, especially when it comes to technology. And if Facebook doesn't keep up with these and continue to make changes, they will be the next MySpace or the next Vine or the next Periscope, right?
Yeah.
They'll be left behind, and they're not interested in doing that. And so they have to change with the times. They have to change as technology does. And unfortunately, that affects us. But at the same time, we have to look at it as, I'm glad they're staying on top of things and always innovating, because then it can continue to be a powerful tool to use for getting leads.
Yeah. And that's why it's important to stay linked in with experts like you who can let us know about these changes that are coming, what the change was, how to react to it, what to do about it. So for the audience watching, I follow Adrienne religiously. I follow all of her advice. And despite all of these changes, I'm getting the lowest ad costs I've had ever as of last week. So you're not going to want to miss anything that Adrienne shares with you. So well, at least we know the big shifts, the big changes that have come. Now, I want to touch really briefly because you mentioned like a third-party tracking tool. Mm-hmm. I know for the longest time, all you needed was a pixel. If you had a pixel on your page, you were fine. Now I'm hearing that's not necessarily reliable. And some of it is just that the browsers aren't letting, like there's a whole lot of like browser cloaking going on. Like browsers aren't able to report all the stuff that's happening. Is conversion API like the tried and true thing you have to do now? Is that what you would advise?
So just to try to make a very complex thing very simple, is what Apple did is put the power of being tracked in the user's hand. So when you went on your iPhone, it started asking you, do you allow this website to track your activity? If you said no, Facebook's pixel, it becomes irrelevant. It's not allowed to track you anymore. And so if you have an Apple device and so 96% of iPhone users opted out of tracking, 96% of them. Okay.
Wow.
So yeah. And so that made the pixel data completely irrelevant. What Apple did do is say, we'll allow you to track one action from these people, even if they opted out of tracking. And so let's say that you have like a lead magnet someone opts in for, and then you put an offer in front of them to sell, and there'd be a second conversion. You have to tell Facebook which conversion is the most important to you, that if you could only know one, which one would you want to know? Because if that person opted out of tracking, Apple is still going to allow that to one action to be reported. And that's why we're seeing such an inconsistency in the reporting. For third-party softwares, you can use things like Hyros or Wicked Reports. If you don't want to pay for them, you can use UTMs and Google Analytics, which is free, but that will allow you to track what is actually happening. In relation to Conversion API that you just mentioned, which is also called CAPI for short, I do believe that people should start getting that in place, because Facebook has said that they're going to get rid of the pixel. It's not even going to exist anymore. They've said as early as December 2022 that it will go away, but Facebook always pushes deadlines out. So it will probably happen in 2023, but there won't even be a pixel anymore. Everybody will need Conversion API. So the sooner you set it up, the better. I right now am not seeing CAPI reporting much more accurately than the pixel. It is a little bit, but not by a lot. And I'm hoping that over time, when they make the switch, like complete the switch, that it'll get better.
Okay, good to know. So anyone using pixels, you might as well get ahead of the game right now, because you just got your heads up.
Yeah.
So good to know. Yes. And if you're not techie, find a techie friend who can help you.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
I'm not techie. I just have a team that does all this for me.
Yes. Yes. I know your focus is like the strategy piece, which is what I'm super excited to dig into today. Now, I know you're going to, everything that you teach, especially everything we'll dig into right now, it's all about reaching the right people and increasing your profits, right? Yeah. So what are the things that someone absolutely needs to do? Like if we created a little roadmap here for them that they could do to reach more of the right people, and not just reach them, because like I know there's ads that it's all about engagement or it's all about traffic, but if it's not turning into a sale, I mean, what are we really here for, right? So how do we reach more of the right people and get them to buy, if we were to break it down into some simple steps?
Yeah. So there's three things that I want to share with you that are very, very important to the success of ads. It keeps your costs down. It'll increase your profit. And what I want to warn you about before I share these three things is they might not sound like anything new you've heard before. I'm not going to share with you rocket science or some amazing secret that nobody else knows. I'm going to be sharing things with you that you've heard, but I promise you they have changed. And what I'm going to tell you about each of those three things is going to be different than what you've heard before. So please listen and with fresh ears and don't assume hashtag I already know this, because it is different, right? And so there's three really important things. They've always been important, but they are especially important now. And the first thing is what your ad copy says. I mentioned that with the changes that Facebook made to targeting, right? They took away a lot of options. Your ad copy, I've always been teaching this, but not a lot of people think of it this way. Your ad copy is an extension or part of your targeting. Okay. So when you go in there and you choose who you want to show the ad to, people think that's my targeting, but your ad copy is where you can get into the specificity of exactly who this is for and what the problem is that they have, so that when you target an audience of 1 million, 2 million, 3 million people, your copy goes in and penetrates those people who are exactly the people you want to reach and pulls them into your funnel. Okay. So your ad copy is actually an extension or part of your targeting.
So it's almost like if you had a bullseye dartboard, the copy is what allows you to zero in closer to the bullseye rather than just hitting anywhere on that dartboard.
Right. So here's a perfect example I share all the time, because a lot of people can understand this. There is no way you can target married people in Facebook, but there is no way to target married people who are thinking about getting a divorce, right? Yeah. You can target people who work a 9-to-5 job, but you can't target people who are working a 9-to-5 job and are thinking about leaving and starting their own business. Right. So you can only do so much with your targeting. That's why your ad copy is an extension of that targeting, like you said, where you're aiming towards this target, right? if you will. And the copy allows you to zero in on the bullseye in a way that you're targeting selections, your interest selections can't do.
Yeah.
So I have a little formula, if you're okay with me sharing that.
Yes, we love formulas.
Of what you should do with your ad copy. Okay. So it's called special, making your ad copy special. And the S stands for start strong. And what I mean by that is the very beginning of your ad needs to start with, boom, a strong statement or a question that grabs people's attention right away. Because if they don't read that first sentence, they're not reading the rest of the ad. So you've got to grab their attention right away. The P is for problem and person. A lot of people will do targeting. They'll target the person, the married person, the executive, the woman, the whatever, right? But you want to target the person who has the problem. And the way that you do that is you need to actually talk about who it's for and the problem you solve within that copy. And so an example of that might be like, and I'm just coming up with this off the cuff, so I'm not saying to use this, but to give you an example of doing that starting strong and problem in person right away might be something like, 96% of married couples are unhappy and living as roommates, right? So right there, you've said this really strong statement that gets people's attention. I know it's for someone who's married. I know it's for someone who's married, and I know it's for someone who feels like they're living as roommates, right? So I can identify right away in the first sentence or two whether this is for me or not. So we go start strong, problem in person. The E is to elaborate. Now we got their attention by making a statement that includes the problem and the person, but now we need to elaborate on the problem. What makes it worse? Why can't they fix this? What are the things they've tried, right? Kind of like do a sentence or two that describes what a day in their life is like dealing with this problem, right? Then the C is to comfort. What we don't want to do is beat people over the head with all this negativity of like this problem you have and it sucks so bad and blah, 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 blah. And now they feel like crap about themselves or you made them feel like it was their fault. You don't want to do that. So the C is to comfort, which means we kind of tell them like, hey, it doesn't have to be this way, or it's not your fault, or you didn't know any better, right? So we're kind of getting them to realize, yeah, I have a problem, but we're not beating them over the head and making them feel bad about themselves. Then we go to the I, which is introduce. So we're introducing the solution and the benefit of the solution. So like, what is the outcome that you provide? Not the journey of every little step along the way. Not like, I'm going to help you lose 30 pounds by doing 60 push-ups a day and eating 1,000 calories a day. Like, no. We want to focus on the outcome of the solution. What's the benefit that it's going to give to them? And then A is action. Include your call to action. Okay. So we've started strong. We identified the problem in the person. We elaborated on the problem. We comforted them. We introduced the solution. We asked them to take action. And finally, the L is life. And what I mean by life is a lot of people are super boring in their ad copy. And you need to bring your ad copy to life by incorporating your personality. Like, are you silly? Are you sarcastic? Are you edgy? Like, whatever your personality is, the way you would talk to someone sitting next to you that you were having a conversation with, you need to make your ad copy sound like that. So that is what I recommend for really strong ad copy.
Oh, I love that formula. It's easy to remember, number one. Number two, I mean, even just in that first example you gave of the first sentence, you accomplished the first three things in one sentence. Like, it doesn't have to be long form copy. It doesn't have to be 10 pages long to accomplish this. Yeah.
No, most ad copy is really good at about 3 to 4 paragraphs, short paragraphs, not like paragraphs we wrote in English class.
Yeah, right. Not the 5-paragraph essay. No. Yeah. Interesting. And I've experienced this as well. Like, that your copy is absolutely a part of your targeting. If you grab someone's attention, and think about, for those of you watching, and we've all seen ads in our feed, right? Like, I know sometimes you scroll past, but every so often there's one that you just stop and you're like, wait a minute, what is going on here? And I even clicked on one the other day. I read the first line and I was like, I call BS. And I'm clicking because I want to see what it says. And I'm like,
right.
I got to see what you're saying here. This is crazy talk, right? Like, but it got me, it hooked me.
Yeah. The key is you just need to hook them with that first sentence. The purpose of the first sentence is to get them to read the second sentence, right? And so on and so on. So you want to hook them, the right person, with that very first sentence, and then move them down the process.
Yeah. So that's super helpful. And I've experienced too with a lot of my clients, the tweaks and learning copywriting and the tiny tweaks and exactly what you say and how you say it that make the biggest differences every time.
Yeah. The better your ad copy is, the higher your click-through rate will be. And the higher your click-through rate, the more Facebook rewards you by putting content that people are engaging with, and they charge you less per click. So this is a very important strategy in bringing your costs down.
So not only does it help you find more of the right people, it saves you a lot of money.
Yes, because Facebook wants, we're Facebook's content creators, right? Facebook doesn't produce any of its own content. We're their content creators. So they want you to put content on the platform that people like and that they engage with. And that click-through rate tells Facebook, that data tells Facebook that you're putting stuff out there that people like because they're clicking it. And so by doing that, they'll charge you less per click as a reward for you to keep doing good stuff, which is the opposite. When your click-through rate is low, Facebook's like, this is crappy, nobody likes it. And they increase your cost per click to penalize you for putting content out on their platform that people aren't engaging with.
So it's kind of like you want to make Facebook happy and Facebook will make you happy in return. Yes. And the copy is the key to doing that. Now I know, like, let's say you have killer copy. Can you pair it with just any image or video? I know videos are, well, especially Reels and TikToks, man, they're taking off. Is video where it's at? Or what should we be pairing this amazing new special copy with?
Yeah. So the second piece of, powerful ads and keeping costs down is the creative. And what I mean by that is either the image or the video that you put with it. And that video or image actually only has one job, and that's to get people to stop scrolling. Because if they don't stop scrolling, they're never going to read your copy, right? And so the image has to grab people's attention. Video is becoming more popular. As we know, Instagram just announced that they're going to be favoring Reels and video content in general. And they are competing with TikTok and YouTube. And so they do favor ads. They will give you cheaper impressions on ads that have a video. However, the average person only watches 3 seconds of a video. So when you do a video ad, it's not actually the video that's getting people to sign up. It might be cheap because you're doing a video ad and Facebook is favoring your video because it is video. But you still have to put really strong copy with a video ad, which most people don't. They're like, oh, I got this amazing video. It's great. And they think the video is going to do all the work for them. But the average person only watches 3 seconds. So they're not even watching your video. And so your copy is just as important, whether you use an image or a video in your ad. And I'm not saying don't do video, but don't rely on the video to do the heavy lifting for you, because it's not going to.
And I know a lot of people, like, they're hesitant to put the same thing they're talking about in the video into the copy, thinking like, well, I'm being redundant. I don't want to be redundant. But like, you're saying they honestly,
they're not even watching it. Video. Yeah. So what I like to do with video is make sure you're wearing either a really bright colored shirt or a bright colored background. Because again, we need to grab their attention when they're scrolling through the newsfeed. Don't wear a black t-shirt, right? It's not going to grab their attention. Because remember, most people, I know I do not have autoplay turned on. So videos don't even play in my newsfeed unless I hit play. So your copy's got to grab my attention. Something in that video, the thumbnail of the video has got to grab my attention. And so saying the same thing in the video, use your ad copy or your landing page copy as kind of the script for what you're going to say in the video. But it's not the video itself that's going to get most people to sign up. But the video could help your ad perform well because Facebook is favoring video. But images, when it comes to, if your goal is to get someone to sign up for something or buy something, static image ads these days are still outperforming video. You should test them both. I'm not saying video doesn't work, but I'm saying test them both to see which one gives you a better cost per conversion, because don't assume it's going to be video just because video is so popular right now.
Yeah. And I just recently tested that video versus a static image, and static image was way less expensive for me.
Yeah. Yep. Because again, the video, it's like people, and this was the argument, right? With Instagram got a lot of backlash about saying, everybody wants video. The truth is not everybody does want video.
That's true.
Like we're videoed out. We're videoed out on TikTok and YouTube. We want video, we go there, right? But Facebook isn't necessarily a platform where people go to search for video. So test them both, see which one gives you the lowest cost per conversion. But whatever you use as your creative, it needs to be bright and colorful and stand out in the newsfeed, because the only purpose of that image is to get people to stop scrolling.
So the image stops the scroll. the first line is the hook that gets them to read the second line and the third line, and right. And so really like nailing that first line of copy and the image that could have a dramatic impact on your cost.
Yeah. And again, because the ad creative, the job of it is to get them to stop scrolling. If they don't scroll, they're not going to click, right? Which then that hurts your click-through rate. So the two of them need to work together in order to bring your click-through rates up and your costs down.
Yeah. So I have to ask, before we kind of move on in this stream of thinking, that let's say you have amazing copy, you have a super bright, colorful image that stops the scroll. I've gotten so accustomed to just running ads. I don't even consider boosted posts anymore. Are boosted posts still valuable? Do they play a role in the portfolio? Like, don't bother.
No, don't bother. A boosted post is being optimized for getting likes, comments, or shares. So if all you want is more engagement, then sure, do a boosted post. But if you actually want people to convert, don't do a boosted post.
Okay. So really no point in playing with that much.
No.
Okay.
The only time I do that is if I post something like on my page that's just like a post and I want more of my followers to see it, I'll boost for like $5 or $10 to just my followers. And that's a really cheap way to reach your warm audience. Mm-hmm. But I don't do that if I'm trying to get conversions.
Okay. Good to know. Perfect. So now what's the final piece of the equation? Like if we want to really blow our profits out of the water here, we have great copy, we have a great image. What else are we missing?
Yeah. So it's really the targeting, right? It is the targeting that you select. You can have the best copy in the world, but if you're putting it in front of the wrong people, your click-through rates are going to be low. Yeah. You could have the best targeting in the world, but if your copy's crappy, your click-through rate's going to be low, right? And if your creative isn't good at all, they're not even going to stop to click in the first place. Mm-hmm. So the third thing that helps to bring your costs down is that targeting. And I believe very strongly that there are people out there giving terrible advice about targeting right now that is not meant for a lot of the audiences that you and I work with. Mm-hmm. And that is saying, hey, the algorithm is so smart. You don't need to do targeting. Just let it do its job and find your people. It's so smart. It can do it for you. And the only people that really works for are people who are selling products. They're in e-com and their products, like anybody would buy them, right? They don't have specific. But if you're like, I have a client who only works with accountants that own their own firm. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, there's 150,000 of them in the US, and you do broad targeting to 100 million people on Facebook or 1.9 billion people on Facebook. They're not going to find the 150,000 accountant owners,
yes,
you're going to waste a crap ton of money. And so for most people who do have a very specific audience, telling people to run broad targeting and let Facebook's algorithm find them is terrible advice. So if you are watching this and you have an e-com business and you have products that everybody and their mother buys, great, do broad targeting. But if not, you need to try to target as specifically as you can. Remember, I said in the copy, we want to talk to the person who has the problem. Mm-hmm. Well, we want to do the same thing with our targeting. We want to target the person who has the problem. And I'll give you an example. Okay. Let's say that you help people get out of debt. Okay. Mm-hmm. And which is a lot of them, right? Yeah. A lot of people, pretty big audience, not super niche because there's a huge pool of people to choose from. And so you do targeting like debt or, money management or whatever, you do some broad targeting like that. That's going to target people who are interested in managing money or interested in that, but they're not necessarily looking for a solution. Okay.
They're not necessarily in debt. They might be interested in money, but they're not necessarily in debt.
Right. So a lot of people will do broad targeting terms like money, wealth, investment, whatever. Mm-hmm. If you target Dave Ramsey or Susie Orman, right? The only people following Dave Ramsey are people who are interested in getting out of debt, right? Yeah. Like you don't follow Dave just because you woke up on Monday and like, I think I'll go follow Dave Ramsey today. Like you're following him because you have a problem. Mm-hmm. And when you target Dave Ramsey's audience, you are targeting people who have a specific problem that you can fix versus if you just target money or broad mm-hmm. keyword. Those are people, they may or may not be in debt, right? Mm-hmm. Same thing if you targeted, a keyword like dating. Let's say that you're a love coach and you help people find their soulmates. Targeting a keyword of dating could reach people who are already in a relationship and are dating, right? Yeah. There's some people there that are trying to find love, but not everybody. But if you target the Hinge, which is a dating app that claims that their goal is to help people never need the app and to delete it from their phone because they're helping them find the love of their life. Well, again, none of us who are married or aren't looking for love, they don't go on the Hinge.
No.
Most of them don't even know what it is.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was until you told me about it just now.
Yeah. So everybody following the Hinge has a problem they're trying to solve. Not everybody who's following a keyword of dating or love or relationships or anything like that, they're not all looking for the love of their life. So when it comes to targeting, you want to, and it's not always possible, especially now that Facebook took away a lot of options. When possible, you want to target the person, whether it's a magazine, an app, an expert, whatever it is, but they have already attracted a group of people who have the same problem, and you run your ads to their audience because you're targeting the person who has the problem you can solve. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. You're leveraging pre-built audiences that other people have already created.
Yeah.
And clearly, I mean, especially for some of these, you know, whether it's a publication or it's like an association or it's a big expert, like there's no way that one expert can serve a million people. Like,
no,
it's totally fine for you to target that person's audience and scoop up a whole bunch of people that they're not able to serve right now.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a very common mistake people make in targeting. Like I'll see all the time where people that are they have like a weight loss program and they're trying to help people get healthy and lose weight. They'll target things like Whole Foods and Trader Joe's and Lululemon. And I'm like, that's great, because there are some people there that are trying to lose weight, but not all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people walking around those stores every day that are not trying to lose weight, right? And so could some of your people be there? Yes. But is everybody there your audience? No. And so that's what you want to be careful with your targeting, is not to go too broad. And again, you can only do what you only can work with what Facebook gives you. And they have made a lot of changes. So this has become more challenging, but it's still very, very important. And it'll make a huge difference in the performance of your ads.
Sure. So that person might be better off targeting like Weight Watchers, for example.
Yes. Except for that you can't target Weight Watchers anymore, but yes.
Oh, bummer. It's so painful. Yes. I know so many of the targeting options have gone. But just to remind the audience, it's not Facebook's fault. They didn't want to lose those targeting options. And they're
not punishing you. They're not like doing this for themselves. I mean, this is actually hurting them. This is why Facebook, for the first time ever, is reporting losses in their revenue because of the changes Apple made and because of the targeting changes. And neither one of those were they were outside of their control. Yeah.
Yeah. But even still, if you follow the formulas that we shared today, the special copy, an image that stops the scroll, and the right targeting, you can still absolutely have immensely profitable ads.
Yes. I mean, people are still crushing it. We still have to advertise our businesses, you know what I'm saying? And it's still one of the best platforms to run ads on. And
I still, even with some of the targeting that was removed, I still can't find any other platform that has targeting as accurate.
No.
Facebook, Meta.
No, YouTube doesn't even have targeting as specific as Facebook does, even with the things they took away.
Even though they're the biggest search engine in the world, they still don't have it, because you learn far more about someone on a social platform than you do just by what they're browsing. Fascinating. So I know the audience now is probably realizing, man, I probably need to brush up on all three of these areas. I need to nail that copy. They maybe even have some ideas in mind for the images, like, ooh, okay, not right background, right? Okay, I get it. The targeting is probably the trickiest one, because depending on your niche and how niched in you are, and like, ooh, that's a tough one. But I know you have a gift that can help the audience to just nail that targeting piece. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
I do. I have a gift for you guys. It's called the Audience Targeting Cheat Sheet. And what my team and I did was we went through all the targeting that's available in about 25 different niches and did all the heavy lifting for you and gave you a list in every niche of the targeting that is still available. So whether you're in weight loss, whether you help people get rid of diabetes, whether you're in dating, all the things, even religion or politics, all of the things that got taken away, plus some that are still available, we did the work, and there's about 2,000 targeting options in there broken down by niche. So we did all the work for you and tell you exactly who to target.
Oh, that's super helpful, because I know the times that I've sat down to do to really think through and do my targeting on my ads, I've spent 30, 45 minutes, an hour just brainstorming and looking up, do they have this? No, they don't have it. Do they have this? Nope, they don't have that, but they had this. It takes a lot of time to do that.
Yes.
So
Yeah. We spent dozens and dozens and dozens of hours creating this list.
I can only imagine
So it's a huge time saver.
I always say there are no easy buttons in business, but I kind of feel like this is an easy button. Like I'm kind of geeked out about this.
Yes, it definitely is.
Oh, well, thank you so much for offering that up. So guys, be sure to scoop up Adrienne's free gift. That's a really valuable gift. That's going to save you loads of time. And whether you're experienced or not, so many things have changed. If you're experienced, you're still going to need the cheat sheet. If you're brand new, you have a shot at running profitable ads, your very first ad right out of the gates. Yep. I mean, honestly, that's where it's at. So thank you so much, Adrienne. We're so excited.
Yep. No, yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Impactful Entrepreneur Show. If you found amazing value here, like, subscribe, and leave us a review to help other people find the high value content that we share, and find us on social media so we can continue the conversation. See you in the next episode.